Hello, my name is Jeff Cross, and this is Straight Talk. Today, I'm pleased to introduce a good friend, Steve Tiburon, who is known as having me buy breakfast at Vegas trade shows. Steve, how are you?
I'm well, Jeff. Thank you.
Yeah, I missed those breakfasts that I had to pay for. Well, I guess you did pay for a few of them.
Well, wait a minute. What?
So, Steve, you've been involved in the cleaning industry just a few years. Pushing how many?
Getting close to 50, Jeff, but I started really young.
Yeah, there you go. Started young. You've been around a while. You're the director of training for John Don's Strategies for Success program. And I think, Steve, that you get most of your information for your classes from this publication. Is that true?
Absolutely. I borrow prolifically, Jeff, and thank you for that resource.
Yeah, I know, Steve, you've contributed to Clean Facts many times over the years. We appreciate that. But today we're going to talk about something that everyone could learn from. It's about complaints, and no one likes a complainer. We complain sometimes about things, but when it comes to cleaning and restoration contractors, what are the mistakes you're seeing with them when they receive a customer complaint? And this is really important for them to grow their business.
The single biggest complaint I see is that we try to solve the complaint while the customer is still angry. And so we're trying to jump in there with the solution, and all they want to do is just spew venom, get angry, and vent. And I finally learned it in business. I'm still working on it after my 45-year marriage, though.
There you go. There must be some kind of a secret to dealing with people like this. Do you have any advice?
Yeah, it's just to recognize that a complaining customer is in attack mode. In other words, they're rushing at you verbally. So what I did when I finally realized that is, I developed a procedure I call emotional judo, where we're going to be able to flip the person using their force against them.
Judo, I didn't know we were going to get into that. I suppose you have the black belt.
Well, I guess so. And I earned it the hard way through a lot of rough knocks and problems, a lot of very stressful phone calls. So if I can help our listeners, our viewers here, avoid this, I'd love to do it. And probably the best way I can do it is to morph off of that term judo is, the way martial arts works is that you leverage the force of the person that's rushing at you, like our caller is, and you use it against them to calm them down or basically to win the fight.
So let's get practical. A customer calls me on my phone. They're unhappy. They're a complainer. What's the first thing I should do?
First thing above all else is don't interrupt. And I know you want to because you want to fix it, but you just listen. And while you're listening, you use what I call in our seminars, empathetic listening. Make little sympathetic noises like, really, wow, And then when they finally slow down, then you say two very important words. My first step in emotional judo, you just say, thank you.
I think the inclination might be just to hang up the phone. Someone calls and complains like that.
Absolutely. But you need to be grateful because think about it. They're calling you or they're venting to you if it's in person instead of going to Google and leaving a nasty, scathing, surprise one-star review. Or they're calling you instead of dumping on your adjuster, who in turn is going to go around and dump on you. So therefore, it very simply just call them by name once they've slowed down. For example, Mr. Jones, thank you for calling me. I really appreciate it.
I could see how that would disarm them. What's next after that?
Immediately after you say, and I'll switch it over. So, Mr. Cross, thank you for calling me. And, I really feel bad that you had to make this call. In other words, what you do is the second thing is you apologize. That doesn't mean that you're accepting guilt. That's still to be determined. But at the very least, you can apologize for the disruption in their life or for the fact that they had to call you.
So basically, if I'm the customer, you let me rant and rave and complain till I'm done. Slow down. Then you're going to say, people should write this down maybe. Thank you for letting me know about this. And I'm sorry you had to make this call. Is that it?
Pretty much. Those are the first two steps of emotional judo. Number one, thank you. Number two, I'm sorry you had to make this call. And it's wonderful because what happens is that they are expecting me to defend myself or justify myself. But instead, when I say, thank you for calling me, I'm sure sorry about this, I've flipped them. They're flat on their back, the wind's knocked out of them, and wow, then we can proceed.
Back to the judo. I can see that.
So after I've calmed them down, now I reassure them. And the way I do that is step number 3, and the final one of my emotional judo. I just say, I'm going to do everything in my power to resolve this situation. I'm going to do everything I can to fix it. Because you see, you are going to try to fix it. So why not tell them? Don't keep it a secret. Just lay it out there and say, I'm going to do everything I can to solve this.
So they no doubt at this point have calmed down. They're listening to you. What's next?
Then we move away from my emotional judo because we don't want to keep fighting all day. And then we move into the next 6 steps of my complaint resolution system, which I know this is dragging on, but basically, Jeff, I'm going to, after I've said I'm going to fix it, I then interview them to find out what their real concern is. And then I fix it, and I fix it cheerfully. And then I continue to stay in touch to finish up my system. And by all this, I've taken ownership of their problem, which is an enormous positive moment of truth.
So, Steve, where can we learn more about this complaint system? These steps are great. Is there more to learn?
Oh, I thought you'd never ask. Very simply, if anybody, I'll send anybody a complete phone script of how to resolve complaints. It's 9 steps. And just write me at steve@homefrontsuccess.com, steve@homefrontsuccess.com. And I'll also timidly mention that at least once a month, I give a 3-hour online SFS seminar with the title, Winning Over Your Caller. And this includes a major section on how to use emotional judo to flip your caller and make a turbo cheerleader out of them, which is what we all want, Jeff.
Yeah. Great information, Steve. Your email address is at the bottom of the screen, and also in the description of this video recording, we'll have the other information for people to follow up with you. Well, Steve, you know what? Maybe one day I'm going to call you on the phone as a fake complainer and see how good you are at your judo.
Oh, I get those all the time from my students. No, not true. Hasn't happened yet, Jeff, but thank you so much for letting me chat with you.